So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. And this next video, bro, is, I'm all about the discoveries, always trying to figure out what else they done discovered in this world so I can be prepared. This is researchers discovered what no one was supposed to see, part 2. All right, so if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, stick around, and let's go.
We're all pretty familiar with the regular animals. If you can't tell the difference between a horse and a cat by now, you should probably get out of the house a little more. Then there's the weird animals like the platypus and the kangaroo, and basically anything from Australia. But we are sure they exist.
Yeah, I had to take Australia off the destination list, bro. They got too much craziness.
At least. What about all the freaky, crazy animals that scientists are desperately trying to figure out? From the colorful octopus to the brand new bat, here's the 20 strangest creatures recently discovered. Number 20. Rare rainbow blanket octopuses caught on camera in the Philippines. When a marine biologist obtained film of a rare blanket octopus whirling through the waters near the Great Barrier Reef, she described it as a once-in-a-lifetime encounter. Jacinta Shackleton found the rainbow-hued fish while snorkeling on Lady Elliot Island off the coast of Queensland, and she was ecstatic. Shackleton told reporters, "The colors in her cape were incredible, and it was fascinating."
Yeah, that's how it gets you right there. You start saying words like, oh, this is incredible. Yes, it's incredibly deadly, probably.
To watch the way she moved through the water. When I first saw it, I mistook it for a young fish with long fins, but as I got closer, I realized it was a blanket octopus, and I couldn't stop myself from jumping up and down. For me, it was undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I am eternally thankful. She didn't say how big it was, but females may grow up to 6 feet long. She also didn't say how she managed to jump up and down underwater. Males, on the other hand, are around the same size of a walnut, which researchers believe is due to the fact that they die soon after mating. Why bother growing, I guess? The blanket octopus spends much of its time drifting in the open ocean, which is why an up-close and personal meeting is so unusual, according to Shackleton. The aquatic species was first identified in 1963, and its name comes from the sheets of webbing that spread between parts of its arms. With the aim of frightening away predators, it will spread its arms out to create a blanket-like appearance. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
I'm surprised I've yet to have a dream with that centipede in it. Jeez.
Time for the rare topic. Out in the forests of Germany, a researcher was looking for new insect species when he picked up what he thought was a pretty weird-looking stick insect, and it turned out to have a human face. Not long after he took this snap, some security guards showed up and led the man away.
It better be a good explanation for this if this is real. Somebody need to tell me something.
On his way out, he was driven past a place hidden in the forest, but he managed to read a sign saying Fairy Cloning Lab. This researcher discovered what no one was supposed to see. What could the Germans be up to with cloning fairies? Why is this being kept secret, or is it all a hoax? Comment down below with the hashtag #RareTopic, and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. With that said, let us keep things moving. Number 19. New bat species discovered in West Africa. In 2018, a group of researchers traveled to the Nimba Mountains in West Africa in quest of a severely endangered bat species. They came upon another on their journey, Myotis nimbaensis. A new bat species with unique orange and black colors was described for the first time last Wednesday in American Museum Novedates. Winifred Frick, research co-author and head scientist of Bat Conservation International, told the American Museum of Natural History, "In an age of extinction, a discovery like this offers a glimmer of hope. It's a magnificent creature." Frick was exploring natural caves and mining shafts in Guinea's Nimba Mountains with a team of scientists from Bat Conservation International.
This person was just doing it with their bare hands.
And the University of Maroa in Cameroon. The Sky Islands, which rise nearly a mile above sea level, are key biodiversity hotspots for animals such as bats. The Lamott's round-leaf bat, or Hipposideros lamotte, is a critically endangered bat species found exclusively in the Nimba Mountains, particularly in abandoned mining shafts known as adits. However, when looking for existing species, the scientists discovered something unexpected. The Washington Post quoted John Flanders, director of Endangered Species Intervention at Bat Conservation International, as saying, "I looked in a net and there was just something interesting there." Flanders claimed he first spotted the bat with the University of Marwa colleague Eric Mose Bakwo Fils, and now they've given the world a new creepy creature. Number 18. Shape-shifting whalefish. Scientists controlling a remote submarine have seen one of the deep sea's most intriguing and elusive species for the first time around 6,600 feet deep offshore of Monterey Bay, California. A brilliant orange female whalefish of the order Cetomimmiformes was discovered half swimming, half gliding through the glare of submarine lights.
I don't know why I feel like this is a side effect from some type of chemical that got in the water and affected this fish.
During 34 years of deep-sea investigation, the whalefish sighting was one of just 18 made by marine biologists from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute. The institute tweeted, "Whalefish have rarely been seen alive in the deep, so many mysteries remain regarding these remarkable fish. With each deep-sea dive, we uncover more mysteries and solve others. Because so little is known about whalefish, the three vastly different forms the animals can take throughout their lives were mistaken for entirely different zoological families for more than a century after their discovery. They were first recorded in 1895 by two Smithsonian Institution scientists. The tape tails, for example, are scaleless larval forms with long, streamer-like tails and mouths with a hilarious overbite that dwell and eat near the ocean's surface. When it's time for these fish to mature into adults, they'll have two distinct body types to choose from. That's a pretty crazy creature. Number 17. New whale species found off Mexico. Whales are probably not the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf, on the other hand, is incredibly biodiverse, with a variety of whales swimming through its waters on a regular basis. There's a new one in the science books right now. Researchers reported in January 2021 that they had found a separate new-to-us whale species provisionally termed the Rice's whale, named after one of its researchers, or simply the Gulf of Mexico whale, in an exciting time for marine science. There may be just 50 of these whales left on Earth, and most sightings have been confirmed in the De Soto Canyon, a spectacular deep-water feature 60 miles off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. Whales have been spotted in the Gulf of Mexico around Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. Scientists had assumed that they were merely a colony of another type of whale, the endangered Bride's whale, since the 1960s. However, additional investigation by experts in Japan and the United States discovered that some of the whales mistakenly identified as brides are actually a different species entirely. The finding highlights how much more we still need to understand about our seas, as well as the need of protecting what's living in our waters before species diminish and vanish. Soon after the news of the new Gulf of Mexico whales emerged, Earth Justice teamed together with other organizations to campaign for a special speed zone to slow ships in areas where the whales are most regularly seen. They can be as large as a railroad boxcar and weigh as much as a regular fire truck because whales in the Gulf of Mexico spend much of their time within 50 feet of the water's surface. They are particularly vulnerable to ship strikes. Number 16. Elusive glass octopus. When an underwater robot captured this seldom observed glass octopus gracefully flying through the deep waters of the central Pacific Ocean, it bared everything, even a peek of its innards. During a 34-day trip,
I don't know why it looked from like the up top view of it, looking down on it, it looked like an umbrella. Imagine just so deep sea diving, you're like, yo, who put an umbrella down here? Why is there an umbrella just floating? You look up, no, that's an octopus.
Off the isolated Phoenix Islands, an island located more than 3,200 miles northeast of Sydney, Australia, marine researchers discovered the rare glass octopus. Glass octopuses, like other glass organisms, such as glass frogs and some comb jellies, are virtually totally transparent, with the exception of their cylindrical eyes, optic nerve, and digestive tract. The expedition team recorded 2 encounters with glass octopuses, which is an astonishing number given that scientists previously had to learn about these transparent cephalopods by analyzing fragments of them in the digestive contents of their predators. It wasn't until 1918 that glass octopuses were identified according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature. These cephalopods live in tropical and subtropical areas of the deep ocean in the mesopelagic or twilight zone, 656 to 3,280 feet below the surface, and the bathypelagic or midnight zone, 3,280 to 9,800 feet below the surface. Number 15. Emperor Dumbo. A new species of Dumbo octopus has been discovered in the deep, complete with unmistakable and adorable fins on its head. The beautiful species, dubbed Emperor Dumbo, was discovered in 2016 when a bizarre species was caught in one of the German survey ship R/V Sonsnetz in the Aleutian Islands. Alexander Ziegler of Friedrich Wilhelm University in Bonn, Germany, was aboard as the resident biologist. We weren't really hunting for it, Ziegler told reporters, so it was a pretty fortuitous find. Furthermore, the entire animal made it to the surface unharmed. Typically, such nets harm species with a lot of delicate tissue, such as octopuses. This one, on the other hand, was in perfect shape, with no small achievement considering it was caught at a depth of 14,760 feet. On board the ship, Ziegler easily identified the octopus as an adult male Dumbo, a species of tiny sea octopus, the umbrella-like webbing connecting their tentacles, and their cartoonishly ear-like fins that mimic the huge ears on Disney's Dumbo elephant figure can be used to identify Dumbo octopus species. Number 14. T-Rex ant found alive for first time, rare species. In 2003, a Malaysian entomologist discovered a single dead ant with tiny pincers that reminded him of Tyrannosaurus rex's little limbs. He called the new species Tyrannomyrmex rex. Of course. Got that, Minecraft fans? According to Michael Greshko of National Geographic, researchers have discovered a surviving colony of the species more than a decade later, and it turns out the small ant isn't quite as dangerous as its namesake. Entomologists Mark Wong and Gordon Yong discovered the ants in March 2016 while patrolling the Mandai woodlands in Singapore, according to Greshko. The researchers investigated
Had me itching it. I just found myself just.
the behavior of a colony of 13 workers, as well as eggs, larvae, and pupae. Their findings were published in the journal Asian Myrmecology. According to Gizmodo's Ryan F. Metalbaum, the ants were nothing like the researchers had imagined. To begin with, entomologists thought the ants needed pristine woods to exist, but the scientists discovered them thriving in rotting wood in a second-growth forest near rubbish piles on a military post. Second, they are truly fearful of cats, unlike their namesake. Wong tells Metalbaum, I find their shy nature ironic and amusing. Tyrannomyrmex translates to tyrant ant. Tyranno is Latin for tyrant and Myrmex is Greek for ant, but it quickly became clear that these ants are far from tyrants, as evidenced by the way they freeze up when other organisms approach, then quickly flee. According to Greshko, the ants were terrified of millipedes, mites, and even tiny ants. They were even afraid of honey droplets. Ah. Number 13. Real-life SpongeBob and Patrick. A sponge that looked suspiciously like SpongeBob.
Somebody planted that there. I ain't buying that. That's just too convenient. No, somebody put that there.
SquarePants was discovered by an ocean expedition investigating more than a mile beneath the surface of the Atlantic this week. A pink sea star, a lookalike for Patrick, SpongeBob's dim-witted closest pal, was right next to it. One of the scientists monitoring a live video from a submersible deployed from the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer was Christopher Ma. He's a research associate at the National Museum of Natural History who works with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration on a regular basis. He's also a starfish specialist. The aquatic animals bore a striking resemblance to Ma's animated pals. They're just a dead ringer for the cartoon characters, Ma tells NPR. So he posted a photo of the two, pointing out the similarities, which drew a lot of attention. Someone was kind enough to add faces and legs, rather of cooling together underwater. Ma believes the critter's intimacy is due to something else. Sponge is a favorite food of sea stars. In all likelihood, the reason that starfish is right next to that sponge is because that sponge is just about to be devoured, at least in part, he explains. Or perhaps not. According to Ma, the sponge's chemical defenses may explain its vivid yellow color. In reality, a little crueler than perhaps the cartoon would suggest. He adds, in any case, a sponge is classified as Hertwigia, whereas a starfish is classified as Chrondraster. According to Ma, the starfish spotted by the expedition was most likely a Chrondraster grandis, which is a pink starfish that inspired the Patrick figure. Number 12.
Learn something new every day, don't you?
Newly described chameleon from the Madagascar may be world's smallest reptile. Frank Glaw, a German herpetologist, has assisted in the description of approximately 200 new species from Madagascar, but the most recent is noteworthy. Brookesia nana is a chameleon that may be the world's tiniest reptile. It is perhaps the smallest chameleon on the planet. B. nana is just shy of 14 millimeters long and can comfortably sit on an aspirin pill. It has swivelly eyes and a large hemipenis, like many Lilliputian chameleons. Never judge a guy's size by his height, ladies. Angeluk Razafaimanansawa, a tourist guide in Montang Dambra National Park in northern Madagascar, who also supports scientific missions, collected 2 specimens, a male and a female, in 2012. The female was 19 millimeters larger than the male, which experts believe is one of the reasons why males have a larger reproductive apparatus. It's a better match that way, at least for the lady chameleon. A subspecies of Brookesia chameleons has undergone extraordinary miniaturization, prompting experts to look for synonyms for tiny in dictionaries. Because Brookesia minima already exists, the researchers chose nana, which is derived from the Latin word for dwarf. Blah and his colleagues recently published their findings in scientific reports. Number 11. Blood red jellyfish. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration may have discovered a previously unknown jellyfish bobbing at 2,300 feet beneath the surface. The jelly in question has a blood-red body and appears to belong to the species Paralia, the researchers stated in a statement. It looks like a floating
Don't eat that.
beret adorned with delicate tassels. Paralia rufescens, which has a bell-shaped body with 30 tentacles and dwells in deep water across the world seas, is the only other Paralia species known so far. As yet unnamed jellyfish was discovered in film from a deepwater dive off the coast of Newport, Rhode Island. Deep Discoverer, the agency's remotely operated vehicle, dived to a maximum depth of around 3,000 feet in the North Atlantic Ocean and filmed any species it saw. Quinn Kirasek, a NOAA intern at Juniata College in Pennsylvania, who is studying biology, first saw the jellyfish while annotating film from the dive. Ctenophores, also known as comb jellies, cnidarians, crabs, and actinopterygii, aka ray-finned fishes, were among the creatures cited, according to Girasek. We also saw several undescribed families and potential new species. NOAA's North Atlantic Stepping Stones mission, which took place from June 30th to July 29th, included this deep dive down the water column. In order to explore the elusive deep-sea species hiding in the vicinity, the crew made 25 dives at depths ranging from 820 to 13,124 feet. Number 10. New chameleon species discovered in Ethiopia. Chameleons are one of the most intriguing squamate reptile families, not only because of their unique behavior and adaptations, but also because of their incredible species variety and range. The Chameleonidae family includes about 215 species.
Always fascinated by the way it camouflages, bro. Like you could legitimately roll up and just not see it. You see the way it blended in with that branch and on that tree?
That range from Africa, Southern Europe, and the Middle East to areas of South Asia. Apart from Madagascar,
Look at the colors too, the blue.
Madagascar's well-known chameleon variety, it was thought that this family originated in continental Africa. The African continent is home to not just a diverse range of chameleon species, but also a large number of endemics that are only found in certain highlands or mountain ranges. The genus Kinyongia, as well as numerous species of the genus Trioceros, to which the newly found species belongs, are examples. The Bale Mountains in south-central Ethiopia are regarded as one of the most unique centers of endemism, with an extraordinary number of plants and animals found nowhere else, stated lead author Thor Kapech of the Alexander Koenig Research Museum. When we discovered another unique representative of the chameleon genus Trioceros from the northern slopes of the Bale Mountains, there were already 2 species of the chameleon genus Trioceros known to be restricted to the Bale region. It's worth noting that this new chameleon is thought to be a member of a species complex that includes the widely distributed Ethiopian chameleon. Number 9. Alien-like spindly squid. Scientists recently obtained spectacular footage of a ghostly squid with massive, iridescent fins and weird elbow-like bends in its tentacles during an excursion in the Gulf of Mexico. To date, there have been fewer than 20 confirmed sightings of this deep-sea cephalopod, known as a big fin squid, and this recent sighting adds one more to the list, according to a statement from NOAA Ocean Exploration. Scientists from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration discovered the elusive squid during their recent Windows to the Deep 2021 Southeast ROV and mapping expedition, which examined poorly studied deep-water regions off the coast of the United States. The researchers saw a set of spindly blue appendages drifting by their remotely controlled vehicle while shooting underwater near the West Florida Escarpment, a high slope in the sea floor that separates the shallow, coastal waters from the deep Gulf of Mexico. The camera pans around to see the big fin squid in all of its splendor, with its 8 arms and 2 tentacles strewn behind it. The creature's huge fins, which extend from the mantle, the main part of its body, ripple softly in the water, similar to how stingray fins flap. The squid's organs are held in the see-through mantle, which look pale yellow.
Definitely can't be in them long, skinny, long legs, bro. You know what I mean? Of course. What, you thought we was gonna think it was there?
Yellow and pink in the ROV's light. Number 8. The Atlantic Coast Leopard Frog. The Atlantic Coast leopard frog is a frog that is only found in the United States. It is regarded as a real frog since it belongs to the species Rana sensuleto, having smooth skin and a slender waist. Its range ranges from Connecticut to North Carolina, along the northern half of the eastern seaboard. The leopard-like speckles on its legs and back give the animal its popular name. It is one of numerous leopard frog species that are identified by their mating call, genetic variances, habitat, and physical differences. The leopard frog.
If you ever lived in the country, then you know them frog sounds at night. It can mess you up, bro.
Frog of the
Like, what is that? Especially if it's your first time out there. What is that? Nah, we gotta move.
Atlantic coast is one of numerous species of leopard frogs. Its scientific name, Koffeldi, comes from Staten Island herpetologist Carl Friedrich Koffeld, who postulated in 1936 that a third species of leopard frog may be found in the New York tri-state area, namely Staten Island, in honor of Koffeld. The author team who described the species in 2014 named it after him. The frog's colors varies from mint gray to light olive green, with brown patches strewn across their backs and legs in an uneven pattern. Their heads are marked by dark snout lines. They have huge eyes and powerful legs that they use to leap. Many people use nocturnal darker tones and diurnal brighter colors, and their coloring has been seen to shift between day and night, as well as with the seasons. Males have enormous vocal sacs on either side of their heads that they utilize to make a mating call. Rather of the repeating chuck of comparable species, this cry is a single and unique ack-ack-ack. Number 7.
I was wanting them to play the sound, man.
Photo bombing squid. Squids are one of the ocean's most enigmatic organisms, so when one appears on video, it's a major event. That's what occurred last year to a group of academics who set out to study the Red Sea's depths. They not only discovered a shipwreck, but their underwater camera was also photobombed by a massive squid the size of a human. The species was discovered as the team was inspecting the wreckage of the Pella, which sunk in November 2011. Despite the fact that the sighting occurred last year, it wasn't until September 2021 that the purpleback flying squid was recognized. While the average purpleback grows to be around 2 feet long, this one was a full human size. Unfortunately, it was not one of the legendary giant squids, which may grow up to 60 feet long. Nonetheless, it's a remarkable find. In a video made of the finding, science program head, Maddie Rodrigue, remarked, "I will never forget what happened next for the rest of my life. All of a sudden, while we're gazing at the shipwreck's bow, this gigantic monster appears, looks at the ROV, and wraps its entire body around the ruin." Rodrigue was a member of Ocean X, a group of marine biologists and filmmakers that dived down to 2,800 feet below the Red Sea surface.
Wow.
Number 6. The world's smallest lemur. 3 new mouse lemur species have been reported by scientists from the German Primate Center, the University of Kentucky, the American Duke Lemur Center, and the Université d'Antananarivo in Madagascar. They exist in Madagascar's south and east, bringing the total number of mouse lemur species to 24. Only 2 species of these little nocturnal primates were recognized 20 years ago. The new descriptions were made feasible by modern genomic technologies and excursions to remote locations. Mouse lemurs are tiny, nocturnal primates that can only be found in Madagascar, and they all have brown hair and huge eyes in common. Only genetic approaches can properly discriminate between different species. However, how much of a difference between 2 populations must exist in order to be classified as a distinct species is a point of contention. By using new objective methods to assess genetic differences between individuals, we were able to find independent evidence that these 3 mouse lemurs represent new species, explains Peter Kapeller, head of the German Primate Center's Behavioral Ecology and Sociobiology Unit. Number 5. A barrel-eye fish. This unusual footage of a barrel-eye fish, or Macropina microstoma, was posted by—
This is like their prize discovery right here. Everybody's video is contained in this barrelfish.
by the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute. This strange fish has tubular eyes and a translucent skull. It dwells in the deep water, in the twilight zone, a mid-level ocean region just beyond the reach of sunlight, according to experts. Ventana and Dock Ricketts are 2 remotely controlled vehicles owned by MBARI. They've completed over 5,600 successful dives and captured over 27,600 hours of footage. However, they've only seen this strange fish 9 times. The barrel-eye dwells in depths of 2,000 to 2,600 feet in the ocean's twilight zone. Its eyes scan the sky for its preferred meal, mainly little crustaceans trapped in the testicles of siphonophores, which throw shadows in the thin shimmer of sunlight from above. But with its eyes pointing upward and its mouth forward, how does this fish eat? Number 4.
Question.
Popalanger, newest primate species. In Myanmar, a new primate known as Popalanger has been identified. After a comprehensive genetic and morphological research, which included a 100-year-old specimen kept at London's Natural History Museum, the new species was named. To validate the presence of the new species, the findings of the genetic research were merged with data from specimens in other museums, as well as field surveys conducted by the German Primate Center, GMC, and Fauna and Flora International in Myanmar, alongside partner organizations. The Popalanger is found in central Myanmar and is named for the holy Mount Popa, which is home to the species' greatest population of little over 100 individuals. Mount Popa is an extinct volcano that is home to Myanmar's most revered Nat spirits, as well as a significant wildlife refuge and a religious pilgrimage site. Number 3. Salazar's Pit Viper.
It's been a long time since we've seen a snake on one of these videos, man. Not like I need them in my life or anything like that. Just when I seen it, I was like, hey, it's been a minute.
Trimeresurus salazar, or the Salazar's pit viper, is a new green pit viper species discovered in a Himalayan biodiversity hotspot and named after Salazar Slytherin, a character from J.K. Rowling's epic Harry Potter series. The snake, which is nocturnal and has a distinctive reddish-orange stripe on the head and body of males, was discovered in India during the herpetological expedition in the summer of 2019. The discovery was reported in Zoo Systematics and Evolution, an open access publication, in an email to Manga Bay. Main researcher Zishan A. Mirza of the National Center for Biological Science in Bengaluru, India, said, "I am a Potterhead and so are two other authors in the paper. This was a tribute to the most fascinating story I've ever read or heard, and it shaped my childhood. We wanted to honor J.K. Rowling for introducing the world to the Harry Potter universe by naming it after Salazar Slytherin." Number 2. New species of parasitic wasps found in fossil flies. Hundreds of maggots munched their way through decomposing bodies 35 million years ago in what is now France. When they'd gotten their fill, they folded themselves into a little bundle and waited to turn into flies. The parasitic wasps then appeared. Researchers have revealed the superbly preserved remnants of 55 ancient fly pupae that harbor parasitic wasp invaders in a rare example of a fossil discovered inside a fossil. The scientists captured photos of the wasps in astonishing clarity, down to their frail wings and back hairs, using modern technology to see into the right-sized fossils without destroying them. 4 wasp species, previously unknown to science, are in the hall. While some were quite similar to current parasitic wasps, others were so dissimilar that they belonged to 2 other genera, according to the team's findings published in the journal Nature. Number 1. Carolina Sandhill Salamander. North Carolina already boasts more salamander species than any other state in the US, with 63, and has now added 1 more to bring the total to 64. The Carolina Sandhill salamander lives in the sandhills of North Carolina, where it can be found along springs, seeps, and tiny black water streams. The Carolina Sandhill salamander was previously thought to be a subspecies of the southern two-lined salamander, but researchers at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences used next-generation sequencing technology to show that the new species is genetically distinct from other two-lined salamander species. These findings, which were published in Herpetologica, support more obvious evidence since the Carolina Sandhill salamander varies from other members of the complex in coloring, size, and natural history. Do you dream of discovering a new species? Which of these animals was the strangest in your view? Let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely, man. Discovering new species is super, it gives us more looks into the past. You know what I mean? And y'all know who I'm waiting on for them to discover. At that day, I don't know, man. We're going to have to pop a bottle of champagne together as a family. I'm going live that day, and we're going to pop some champagne. When they discover Megalodon, you know it's on. Everybody needs to just wait. You know I'm going to come out with something. But yeah, these discoveries are super, super dope, and we're going to continue to make these discoveries, man. So y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and stick around and stay tuned to the next one I'm going. Peace.